On the 29th of October 1981, Depeche Mode released an album that now feels like a photograph taken just before everything changed. It is bright, direct, and full of youthful confidence. Yet beneath the surface there is a sense of uncertainty. This is Speak and Spell, a debut that captured British synthpop at the moment it moved beyond small venues and specialist audiences and into something wider. For me, this album has always meant more than history. When I turned 15, my grandmother gave me 2 records for my birthday. One was Dare by the Human League. The other was Speak and Spell by Depeche Mode. I remember placing the needle on the vinyl, and the moment new life began, something shifted. I instantly fell in love with the album's ice-cold, at the time completely mind-blowing new synth sounds. The soundscape felt unfamiliar and modern, almost stark, yet the melodies were immediate and human. My world changed drastically in that moment, and I never really looked back. Depeche Mode are often associated with darker and more introspective music, but Speak and Spell belongs to a different emotional space. It is the sound of a band at the very beginning, still open, still undecided. It is also the only Depeche Mode album to feature Vince Clarke as the principal songwriter, making it a unique document in the band's catalogue. The story begins in Basildon, Essex. Dave Gahan, Vince Clarke, Martin Gore and Andy Fletcher were all teenagers when they came together. Their ambitions were modest. In interviews looking back, Martin Gore has said that even the idea of releasing a single felt almost unreal. They were not planning a future. They were responding to a moment. That moment arrived through Daniel Miller, the founder of Mute Records. Miller has spoken about recognizing something in the band early on, even before they had fully formed an identity. He became closely involved, not just as a label owner, but as a producer and collaborator during the group's debut period. Speak and Spell was recorded at Blackwing Studios in London and produced jointly by the band and Daniel Miller. The studio setup was limited, but those limitations helped define the album's sound. The arrangements are clear and economical. Every element serves a purpose. In interviews from the period, Miller has explained that clarity and immediacy mattered more than complexity, and that approach is central to how the album still sounds today. Speak and Spell quickly found an audience. It reached the UK top 10 and was supported by a run of singles including Dreaming of Me, New Life, and Just Can't Get Enough. These 3 singles were written by Vince Clarke, and together they established the album's character, melodic, optimistic, and driven by instinct rather than calculation. What followed came quickly. In interviews given soon after the album's release, Vince Clarke explained that he was uncomfortable with touring and with the expectations that now surrounded the band. He has consistently said that his interest lay in songwriting, not in the wider demands of being part of a pop group. By the end of 1981, he had decided to leave. That decision gives Speak and Spell its particular weight in hindsight. It is not simply a debut album. It is the sound of one possible version of Depeche Mode, captured briefly before it vanished. Listening to the album now, that sense of possibility is everywhere. New Life opens with urgency. It does not announce itself through drama, but through momentum. The track moves quickly and confidently, and Dave Gahan's vocal already carries personality, direct, slightly breathless, and unguarded. I Sometimes Wish I Was Dead immediately shifts the mood. Despite the album's brightness, there is a brittle honesty here. It sounds awkward and exposed rather than ironic. Dave Gahan has later spoken about how these early songs reflected everyday emotions. and this track captures that plainly. Puppets sharpens the album's focus. The lyric idea is simple, but the restraint of the music allows it to land. The repetition reinforces the theme rather than softening it. Boys Say Go explains why Depeche Mode worked so well in clubs. The rhythm carries the track, and the uncluttered arrangement gives it physical energy. This is synthpop as movement, not spectacle. Nadisco follows with impatience. Despite its playful title, it is delivered straight. That seriousness is part of the album's appeal. Even lighter moments are treated with commitment. What's Your Name divides opinion, and that feels appropriate for a debut. It captures a band trying on approaches and identities. Martin Gore has later acknowledged that early Depeche Mode was still discovering what suited them, and this track sits firmly within that process. Photographic marks a subtle change in atmosphere. The textures become cooler and harder, hinting at the direction the band would later explore. Although the songwriting remains rooted in Clarke's pop sensibility, the mood points forward. Tora 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 is one of 2 songs on the album written by Martin Gore, and the difference is immediate. The pacing is more deliberate, the mood more unsettled. In interviews, Gore has spoken about his attraction to ambiguity and atmosphere, and this track feels like an early signal of that instinct. Big Muff, the second Gore composition, continues that shift. It disrupts the album's run of direct pop and introduces unease. It also reveals something important. Even at this early stage, Depeche Mode already had 2 creative centers. They simply had not yet exchanged roles. Any Second Now creates space. It is not designed as a single, but as atmosphere, allowing the album to breathe before its final statement. Just Can't Get Enough remains inseparable from this era. Dave Gahan has spoken about how quickly the song connected in clubs, while also acknowledging, often with humour, how clearly it belongs to Vince Clarke. Beneath that humour is a simple truth. This song brought immediate success, and at the same time it marked the end of one chapter. Taken as a whole, Speak and Spell is not a rough draft. It is a complete statement from a band who did not yet know how temporary that statement would be. It captures early synthpop before it hardened into expectation, when optimism, texture and melody still outweighed self-consciousness. It is also a reminder that careers are rarely planned. This album was not designed as a stepping stone. It exists because 4 young men followed instinct and moved faster than they could fully understand. For me, it always returns to that birthday. 2 records, a turntable, and the moment the needle hit the vinyl. One album showed what synthpop could become. The other revealed an ice-cold electronic world of sounds, textures and melodies that felt entirely new. Speak and Spell did not just introduce a band. It opened a door, and once it did, I never looked back.